Do you want to get the best garage door service you can? Today we're going to show you the top 5 questions you should ask a technician. Welcome to the Garage Authority Podcast, powered by A1. I'm your host, Jonathan Phillips, and today we are going to help you with your garage door. And what I mean by that is we're going to go over the questions that you should be asking a garage door technician to see if they are the right fit for your home. And today, the only person who's going to answer that, the cowboy himself, the one and only, Thomas Warman. Mr. Stoic, how's it going, brother?
Good, how about yourself?
I'm good. I can't wait to see the thumbnail when you smile because you don't do it in person, so it's very funny.
Not too often, huh?
Not too often. But what I want to do with today's episode is there's a lot of garage door companies out there. I would say there's more good than there is bad. Yeah. But there's a lot of people and companies that are wild westing it out there. And I'm going to be completely honest, have no idea what they're doing. Yeah. And I want to make sure that it doesn't have to be us. But if a technician can't answer these questions, then that is not a good technician. Not necessarily the company. That technician shouldn't be working on your door. I know this is going to be kind of a hot item, but honestly, I'm willing to debate with anybody that if your technicians cannot answer these questions, they don't know what they're doing. Now, what I would like to do is a little bit of role play to where I'm the technician, or I'm the homeowner. I'm the homeowner, and these are the types of questions that homeowners should be asking, okay? Okay. So my first question for you, if you were a technician, what got you into garage doors?
That is a good question. Yeah. That's a good question. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Okay. So I just came to Arizona. Yeah. I was a welder beforehand, working in the oil fields, and I came here and I found that I couldn't support myself doing that here. Right. So I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and I talked to somebody that worked for A1 Garage, and the way he talked about the company and doing what he enjoys doing it so much, I actually started looking into it. Yeah. So then I ended up applying because I was like, well, if this employee really enjoys working here this much, it has to be a great company to work for. Yeah. And I ended up applying. I got the job, and I just haven't looked back. So it's been everything he said it was and more. Yeah. So there's nothing to even complain about.
Yeah. What do you love about it?
What do I love about it? The personal interactions you get with people, right? You could be having the worst day of your life, and then you go and meet this one person that just flips it upside down. Now you're having the greatest day. Because their outlook is just on life is incredible. So that's one of the main things, in the camaraderie that we have here at A1 is special, and to say the least. But
some of my best friends.
Yeah. All my friends here work for A1.
That's why I want homeowners should be asking any home service or garage door technician, like, what got you into garage doors? And if they can't do it with, like, an actual personal reason, you know what I mean? Like, I have friends here. It's a family. I love garage doors. I love meeting new people and talking to them. And if that technician is just kind of like, it's just a filler job, or, that's a red flag to me. That's a red flag.
Yeah, because if they don't enjoy it, it's just, they're just going through the motions at that point, and who knows if those motions are correct at the end of the day, Yeah,
it's just a get in, get out. They don't really care about the long-term solution. So the next question I would ask you is, how long has your company been around?
Almost 20 years.
Almost?
Almost.
Yeah?
Started in 2007.
Yeah?
So we got almost 2 decades behind us there.
Huge and exponential growth. You want to know how long a company's been around because that's going to tell you about the longevity. Now, longevity, it's like experience and stability, warranties. They know how to run a business. There's not a lot of like back-end stuff with paperwork or payment or trying to get a hold of somebody. And then, whenever you get into those warranties and those promises and those guarantees, those fly-by-night companies, they gave you a lifetime warranty. You called them 2 years later, and now that phone doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, that's another unfortunate reality of any really home service industries, because you do all this work with somebody and then try to get them back out there to check it or fix something, and they don't answer, or their phone number's disconnected, and now you're left high and dry. Yeah. And unfortunately, you're more than likely going to have to pay for that twice.
For sure. Yeah. Now, what kind of training did you receive?
Oh, another good question.
Yeah.
So when I went through, I did a month of ride-alongs with senior techs. So I got to see exactly how the job works and get my hands on things and see if it was a good fit for me. And that's another thing I really enjoy is working with my hands. And then after that, we have a month-long academy that we send the guys to where they are in classroom learning about operators, the internal components of it, also the warranties and all that fun stuff, and how to safely work on garage doors.
Right.
Right, because safety is a huge thing, not only for your family, but for us as employees. So they need to be able to fix it safely and correctly.
Yeah.
So we learn a month long of that. And afterwards, we still have training that we can do always.
Yeah.
We can go back to the training academy. We can continue to learn. We can ride with other guys, see if our process is the correct process. So there's always learning opportunities here.
Yeah.
And the training is really in depth,
Yes.
to say the least. So we teach them all the mechanical work, the back end stuff as far as like how to figure out exactly what spring goes on the door, and it's an in-depth process.
I realize that there's some trades out there like HVAC or electrical work or plumbing, union jobs. You get up to your journeyman, master. In the garage door industry, there's something called the IDA, and you can work your way up from residential, commercial, fire drop systems, and master tech, and those are pretty good. We work in the residential space as A1 Garage Door. We've had guys that have been residentially certified, and the IDA is a governing body of the garage door industry. We have techs that come to that academy with experience that fail our tests even though they've been certified nationally, which blows my mind that our test is more technical than that, and that's every student that graduates the academy. So whenever it's training, don't get me wrong, there's some companies out there, they'll put a technician in a truck for like 2 months. But whenever you do that, it's just whatever jobs come up that day. There's a chance that maybe they don't get into a complicated four-spring system or a high-lift system or know how to measure that out or roof pitch or any of those things. And that's why having an actual school rather than just whatever jobs happened during that time they were riding in a truck, there's levels to this.
Oh, 100%. It's not only that, but who's to say that guy he's riding with is doing it correctly?
Yeah, that's another big thing.
Bad habits are hard to break.
Yeah.
So when they start getting those embodied or they do it the wrong way for so long, or that's the only way they know, and then you have to show them and teach them the correct way or the safest way of doing it.
Yeah.
That's another hassle in its own. But I think it opens people's eyes to the way or other opportunities and ways to actually fix it safely and correctly.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways that we train in the academy. It's not necessarily the fastest.
No.
It's because, we have 400 or 500 technicians that are running 5 jobs. I mean, we run thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs a month. And we're like, the guy that took off rollers that way, this is when the mistake happened. And when we train this a little bit of a slower way, a little bit more of a clean way, it might take an extra 5-10 minutes, but consistency, because we see all the jobs in high numbers, that's the type of experience that you can get with a school and a large-sized company. Now, another question that they should ask technicians, if you were a technician at my house, is how do you guys handle emergency calls and warranties, and what happens on a weekend or at night?
Weekend, so here we run 7 days a week, so someone's always on, so we can always get out there, hopefully.
Yeah.
Depends, hopefully not everybody's having an emergency at the same time. And then as far as our emergency service goes, we have techs that are on call up until about 10 o'clock at night every day of the week.
Yeah.
So there's always somebody that can at least get there, if not the next day.
Yeah, first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
That's another big thing. The reason I asked that question is because garage doors don't break at the most convenient times.
Never.
It's when you are leaving or when you are trying to come home.
Yes.
So that's why, especially when it comes to garage doors, that how they're going to handle an out-of-hours call, and if you can even get a hold of somebody, is something huge that you should put any technician that comes to your door's feet to the fire.
Yeah.
Now, a final question, probably the biggest one, and I'm willing to debate anybody in the world on this, is can you explain how you would pick garage door springs for my door?
Yeah, so there's really 4 key components that go into picking the correct spring for your home.
Yeah.
One of them is going to be the size of the door.
Okay.
So we have to make sure we go out there and measure the size of the door, get the width, the height. The other one's going to be lift type.
Okay.
So what kind of tracking system is in there?
Right.
Is it going like a standard garage door directly over your head? Is it going straight up? Is it raising up a few feet before it rounds over your head? So there's a lot of factors there. Drum size.
Drum size.
Well, it wraps the cable. That's going to be an important factor, probably one of the most important ones.
Yeah.
And then dead weight of the door. So when I say dead weight of the door, like the weight of the system or the door without spring assistance.
Nice.
To it.
So if they can't explain that when we pick your spring that we're going to weigh the door, we're going to measure out the track, we're going to put it in the drum, and we're going to get the door size and weight. If they can't do that, they're probably just throwing up springs that they were told to and they don't know why. And guess what? That doesn't fit every single garage door. That's why we do it that way every single time. It could be the door looks the same, but that year they used a completely different gauge steel. They might not have an understanding of the weight difference of a steel back from the face. They might just follow a guideline that a spring can lift, from this weight to this weight range, and they're not taking into effect, like, there's a difference the higher the track gets. There's a difference with that extra foot of door. There's a difference with a drum. It's not rocket science once you figure it out, but if you don't know those things, then you don't know how to pick garage door springs. And I'll fight anybody on that.
And I would agree with you on that one, because a lot of people do just, I know this door and throw it up. And then it's the wrong spring and causes a bunch of issues like burns your motor out, puts wear on all the other parts of the system. So I would say that those 4 things are really important.
My favorite part is whenever they pick a spring that's like, I'll just put more turns on it. The springs have to have a pretty approximate, like close range to the exact turns. And if the door's heavy and it's burning out your motor, a lot of guys are like, I'm just going to put 3 more quarter turns on it or something. You just reverse the problem because now that spring's not quite dead when it gets up in the air because the spring becomes unwound as it comes up. It needs enough on it to where it's holding the cable tension when it's up in the air. But if you put too many winds on it, now the operator, it's not heavy on the ground anymore. Now pushing it down is a problem. So that was just snaky.
Yes.
They made a mistake. They got lazy. They didn't want to put the appropriate spring on there. And they just moved the symptom somewhere else to where you can't see it.
Yeah.
And it really just gets under my skin. Now, personally, red flag, when a technician comes to the home, I think it's the types of questions that technicians should be asking a homeowner to give appropriate solutions.
Yeah.
So what kind of questions should a garage door technician, I as a homeowner, or whoever's listening, what type of questions should I be hearing from a technician?
I would say probably the most important is how many times do you use the system?
Yeah.
And another really important one is how long you plan on staying in the home.
Right.
Is this your front door? Really, it's going to be any question that is pertaining to your situation.
Right.
Those are going to be the questions I'm looking for. Because if they're just throwing out solutions that they don't even know how often I open my door or how many times I use it in a day,
right,
that might not fix or fit my problem or my situation.
Right.
Or if I'm planning on living in the home for 10 years and they only give me a solution that lasts 2 years, that's not really pertaining to my situation. So I would say, like, how long do you live in the home? How many times you open this door in a day? Who all uses the system?
Right.
Stuff that's really going to help create the solution for my situation.
Right. And it's the pattern of your day. Yeah. It's how your wife is going to use the door. It's how your kids are going to use the door, especially if it's the front door. Not to mention questions like, maybe the door's in really bad shape. And I will say that sometimes clients have a just blind faith in what a tune-up can do.
Yeah.
When I come to some doors, and that's not their fault. They don't know. But if I go to your house and, it's wood rotted out at the bottom and this thing's falling apart and cracks and you're just like, I need a little bit of lube. I'm like, potentially this is a new door, but that could be a long conversation. So, you got kiddos that you got to pick up from school in 35 minutes. Like, if I'm not asking, like, hey, what's going on in your day? This might be a little bit bigger. Because if I don't communicate that, and then I'm just sitting here like, new door, new door, new door, and then how do you feel as a client when you're like, I got someplace to be, dude?
You feel like you aren't heard or your situation's not important, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good point. That's another important question. Like, hey, is there any time restrictions today? You know, things like that. Because I'll tell you, as a technician side of it too, I want to make sure I do my best work. So if there is time restrictions, then we can try to work around them, or maybe potentially reschedule to make it to where I can do my best work, and I have your undivided attention as a homeowner, so I can thoroughly educate you on the system.
Right.
So,
and if a technician's doing work, let's say that it is just a spring and everything else is fine. If that technician's not giving you a full inspection and diagnosis of the entire door, like if you called me and it's just like, I just need a remote for a battery, cool. Still my job to inspect that door entirely, all the way
100%.
through. Not saying you have to do anything that day, but you should get some sort of report from that technician of, I did this, I did this, I did this. This is kind of, could go either way soon. This is like a huge failure point. And I know that, some people are like, hey, I just called for a battery. But if you're a professional, just at least give them the inspection that you did. Explain it if they have time. Or, hey, if you don't have time, if you want me to call you because I'm going to send this to you, just talk it over real quick, that's cool. You just need to know where your door was at when I started, where the door stands now, and any future problems that you're going to have.
Yeah, because if they don't do that inspection, these things can really snowball really fast.
Bad.
One little thing can turn into a whole replacement of the system.
Yeah.
So if they're not giving you that report or educating you on how it can lead to that, then they're doing you a disservice at that point.
That, and if they can't explain it simply.
Yes.
If it's going over your head and they seem like they're getting frustrated and they're like, just trust me on this, like, no, they need to be able to explain like the domino effect. Like a bearing, for example. Bearing holds up the entire torsion system, makes it so it can rotate with the springs. The tube that everything sets on is metal, and when those bearings seize up, sometimes you take it off and you can hear that it sounds like a maraca or a lot of black dust and metal shavings. The importance of that, I realize that bearing may seem like, if it holds it up, it's fine. If that bearing cuts through that tube, the entire chassis of the counterbalance system, the door falls.
Yes.
And if they're saying like, well, your drum's cutting into your torsion tube, well, the drum rotates with the torsion tube, so it's not cutting into anything. Things like this, if they can't explain it simply, then
in layman's terms.
Yeah, then they're not the technician for you. And I'm not saying the company. It might just be that technician. So be like, hey, is there another technician that you guys could probably, I just, it's my home and I would like to hear something else. And if that technician also can't explain it, get a different company.
Yeah.
Completely.
And I would say don't be scared to ask for another technician.
No, never be scared to ask for a different technician. Now, is there anything as far as like red flags, as far as a final note, maybe how they come into the home or anything like that people should look out for?
Yeah, that's a good point. First impressions, you can say. Visual or in person is really important to me. I don't want somebody coming to my house that smells like they just smoked a pack of cigarettes or is covered head to toe in oil.
Right.
Trash all over their vehicle. Like, to me, that shows they don't take pride in their own stuff. Why would they take pride in mine?
Right.
Right. So if they come, I have a little grace with the oil because they are working, but again, not head to toe.
Right.
Maybe tucked in shirt, not smoking a pack of cigarette in your driveway.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Right. Where did they park? Did they park their oil leaking vehicle in my driveway? Because that's another thing I don't care for.
Right.
But it's really how they present themselves is essentially going to tie to how they do their work.
Right.
Right. If they take pride in what they drive, how they look, then they're going to take pride in their work as well.
Yeah. So, and I'm not saying it's got to be, every company's got to start somewhere. Just whether it's the conversational piece, whether it's how they explain things, just the fact that they're putting in effort. Yeah. Not every company can buy, good hats and clean shirts, and maybe that guy's a one-man show and he's ran 8 jobs that day. But just if he's moving slow or she, and they just look like they don't care and they're just here for money, like, let it go.
Yeah, morale's a big one too. If they don't enjoy what they do or where they're at, it's not going to be a pleasant pleasant visit.
Anytime I've had any home service at my home and that technician was complaining about the office or the company, it's always ended up bad.
Yeah.
Every single time. I'm just like, you don't even like working here, dude. Like, why are you?
And well, not only that, like if they have internal conflict, how is it going to be when something external like a customer issue arises?
Right?
Yeah.
Can get gross. So, dude, what got you into garage doors? How long has the company been around? What kind of training did you receive? How do you handle emergency calls? Explaining how they choose springs, and then also we've gotten just into presentation and asking questions and making sure they're giving you the best results.
Yep.
Is there any final messages that you could give to the audience pertaining to this?
I would just say that the biggest red flag with technicians is no questions.
Yeah.
That would probably be my number one thing. Presentation's important and all, but just pick somebody that enjoys doing what they do, because you're going to be in good hands at that point, regardless of what company you choose.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.